Remember her perfect 10 at the Indianapolis Worlds to clinch the first ever team silver medal in World Championships for the U.S.? Well, Bella Caroli does. Can Caroli's star pupil continue her streak that started when she turned the gymnastic world upside down with her powerful tumbling? Well, she'll have to be right on the mark tonight because Shannon Miller of Edmond, Oklahoma is hot on her trail. Miller's coach, Steve Nuno, says it's time for Shannon to take her turn at the top.
This year, we should be winning, and she wants to win. We've been the person without the pressure. If you're going into the Olympic Games, you're not going to win unless you've won something. You know, and she's won a number of international competitions, and as I said before, I think she's very well respected on the whole international scene. Unfortunately, she hasn't won a particular meet in America. I mean, a lot of invitationals, but not one of the big USGF sanctioned competitions, international meets. So it's our turn. She's got to earn it. She knows it, and we're ready for it.
For the men, UCLA's Scott Keswick will perform tonight. Keswick, with his 10th place all-around finish at the World Championships, led the U.S. men to 5th place, the best finish in the last 8 years. Also, Jared Hanks is here to compete, this year's American Cup champion, and he's on quite a roll, moving up from an alternate's position on the U.S. team to number 1 in less than 1 year. The strongest competition from the international scene should come from this young man, 18-year-old Russian strongman Dmitry Karbonyenko. There's no doubt he can certainly fill the shoes of the former Russian greats. It's all tonight from Tallahassee as ESPN, the Total Sports Network, presents the McDonald's International Mixed Pairs Gymnastics Championships. Welcome to the Leon Civic Center here in Tallahassee, Florida, for the 10th annual McDonald's International Mixed Pairs Gymnastics Competition. And hello everyone, I'm Bart Conner, and we're glad you've joined us here on ESPN. This is 1992. It's a very special year for the sport of gymnastics. It's an Olympic year, and this is our first opportunity to see many of the international stars. Now, today's competition is an unusual format, and it's one of the few times we see the men and women paired together as a mixed pairs team. And joining me, as always, is Olympic medalist Kathy Johnson. And Kathy, this kind of format really opens the door for a competition within a competition.
Well, Bart, since the United States is the host country, they have 4 pairs competing in the first round, but only 2 of those pairs can advance into the second round, and only 1 pair into the third and final round. So that puts a lot of pressure on the Americans just to continue in the competition.
Speaking of the Americans, obviously you have to pick people like Jared Hanks and Kim Zmeskal as one of the top favorites.
Well, Kim is the reigning world all-around champion, and both she and Jared are the American Cup champions, so they're certainly the team to beat. But as you mentioned, this format is very unique, and it could benefit the other pairs. The team of Shannon Miller and Scott Keswick should open very strongly. Scott starts on the still rings, where he scored a perfect 10 in his last competition and was a world championship finalist. Shannon Miller was the silver medalist at the World Championships on the uneven bars, and that's where she starts.
Perhaps the strongest competition should come from the former Soviet Union. You know, 2 months ago they were the Soviet Union. 2 weeks ago they were the Commonwealth of Independent States, and today they're the Community of Independent States. Regardless of what you call them, and actually the athletes here will call them Russians because they're from the Republic of Russia, they're still among the favorites.
Bart, we've said the Americans are the favorites, but there's no reason in the world why this Russian team cannot win this competition. Dmitry Karbonyenko is probably the best gymnast in the competition, and his teammate Svetlana Kozlova carries on a long former Soviet Union tradition of excellence.
Well, it's the McDonald's International Mixed Pairs, and the competition in round 1 will start in a moment.
From the Community of Independent States, Svetlana Kozlova and Dmitry.
The McDonald's International Mixed Pairs Gymnastics Championship is brought to you by McDonald's. What you want is what you get at McDonald's today. We'll be back with the first round of competition here from Tallahassee. Back to the Tallahassee Civic Center for the McDonald's International Mixed Pairs Gymnastics Competition. Bart Conner along with Kathy Johnson. Let's take a quick look at the competition format because it is a little complicated. The gymnasts compete as a pair. Now, they may represent different countries, and we'll explain that as we go along. There are 3 rounds of competition. 15 pairs compete in the first round. The top 8 advance to the second round, and the top 3 advance to the final round. Now, only 2 USA pairs are allowed to advance to the second round, and only 1 USA pair in the final round. In addition, all scores count for each round, and the scores will be added together for a running total. In each round, the gymnast must utilize a different event. No one event may be performed twice. Men may only vault in the first round, and women may only vault in round number 2. Well, and now that we've probably thoroughly confused everyone with these rules, let's get on with the competition. The first mixed pair to compete is Carrie Strug and Trent Demas from the United States. Now, as this format goes, we mentioned that they can't really have a mediocre performance in the first round, or they may not even make it to the second round. This could be a strong performance for both Carrie and Trent. They're picking their best events.
I really think that if they can hit these first 2 events, that we could be in for a surprise. Carrie is very dynamic on this event. However, she had little trouble with it during the American Cup. And as she admits to herself, she gets very, very nervous in competition, so maybe a good performance here will give her the confidence she needs. Now, she warmed up only a full twisting double back, where she normally does a whip back pass here. Let's see what she does. Full twisting double back, pike position, very nicely done.
She really has learned a lot about selling her performance. She's improved a great deal over this past year. This is just her first year on the national team.
Of course, Carrie was a member of that silver medal winning team at the World Championships. Here's her middle tumbling run. It's a whip back through to a double back. There's the whip. Again, very nicely done. She's really been working hard on those landings. Sometimes she has a little bit of trouble bouncing out of them.
Carrie's family actually lives in Tucson, where her dad is a heart surgeon. She's training now in Houston with Bella. She's been there for the last couple of years.
She's planning to dismount with a full twisting double back. Very difficult at the end of the routine. That's great. That's where she had the trouble at the American Cup. And I know she is pleased. And as I said, she really needs a confidence boost, because she said sometimes it's a little intimidating training with the world champion, Kim Zmeskal, and she needs a little more confidence.
Big finish on the full twisting double back for Carrie Strug. That's the kind of difficulty it takes to win a major international event.
Let's take a look at her full twisting double back. Now this one is in piked position. She'll lay out the first somersault. There's the full twist, pulls it into a nice pike position, and spots the floor for the landing.
She has a tendency often to overdo things. She really is very springy.
Here's her final tumbling run, and it was a good one. You know she was pleased with that landing.
Now, as we wait on the score for Carrie Strug, we move over to Trent Demas, who has selected his best event, the horizontal bar. But as Trent said the other day, he's either hot or cold on the high bar, isn't he?
He said he would either score a 10 or a 7. I think he'll probably be somewhere in between, but he truly loves to go all out on this event.
Trent has 3 very big release moves. The first one will be a double backflip over the bar, and I don't think anyone in the world does it quite as well as Trent. Here it comes. It's called a Kovacs. Now here comes a combination, a reverse heck to a Ginger. Oh, what a shame. He just pitched it out too far, didn't he?
As we said right before he went, he loves to go all out. He wasn't playing it safe, coming in close to the bar to make sure he grasped. He wanted to try and be the perfect distance from it. It's just a tiny bit too far out.
Let's take a look at what happens. This is a reverse hack to the Ginger.
Now right here, he just flings it out a little bit too far, and if his arms were a little bit longer, he might have had it. You can really tell he was going for it, too, because he over-rotated as he was headed toward the mat. It's a scary fall.
Now the judges will deduct a half a point from his score, and then he needs to complete the rest of the exercise from the point where he fell off. All Trent has left to do in the performance is this requirement here. This is called the Eagle Giant Swing. And he has a huge triple back, one of the best in the world.
Way up above the bar. Very nicely done. What a shame. 0.5 of a point right off the top for the fall. That will certainly hurt this team.
For that team, no question about it. Trent, by the way, was 4th in the USA's back in 1990. He was 11th, had a lot of problems last year. He's back on a rise, but what happened here, Kathy?
As I said, he flung it out just a little bit too far. I think he thought he had it. Just couldn't quite get a grasp.
The best part of the routine was this release move here.
That is gorgeous. Now that's the perfect distance away from the bar. The arms are not bent, they're outstretched, and he just gets his hands on the bar.
Ladies and gentlemen, before we be moving on to our next pair.
So we wait for the score for Carrie Strug. Obviously, her score will be quite high. Trent Demas will be considerably lower. So a 9.85 for Carrie Strug. Trent Demas gets a 9.25. 19.1 is their effort. The first round will continue when we come back. Welcome back to Tallahassee. Our gymnastics competition continues in the first round. We're ready now to see the American pair of Shannon Miller and Scott Keswick. Shannon Miller there from Edmond, Oklahoma, getting ready to perform on perhaps one of her best events, the uneven bars.
She won a silver medal at the World Championships on this event. She was also 6th in the all-around and won a silver medal as part of that fantastic team in Indianapolis.
And by the way, a quick happy birthday to Shannon. She turns 15 years old today.
Shannon has 2 release moves in this routine. The first one's coming up right here to Ginger. Very nicely done. Her second release move is a reverse hecht. Now she has a huge dismount, a full twisting double back right there. Ooh, just a little hop on the landing. It's really the only deduction of significance, is that little hop on the landing. It's a very difficult routine. 2 big release moves, and of course the dismount.
Kathy, you mentioned that Shannon has grown a couple of inches. I think her swing is a little longer and a little more fluid just because of that.
You can see what the judges are looking for on the release moves. Their shoulders should be at least level with the bar as they make the regress. She has plenty of amplitude. Here's that dismount. It's 2 flips, 1 twist. There's the full twist. And as I said, just that little hop on the landing.
Tonight's competition on men's still rings.
So as we wait the score for Shannon Miller on her uneven bars. Shannon, by the way, scored 2 perfect 10s in Europe a couple of months ago at the Arthur Gonder Invitational and the Swiss Cup. Now this is her partner, Scott Keswick from UCLA. Scott has also selected his best event to open up the competition on. This is the still rings. He's 3-time national champion on this event. And he combines all the things the judges are looking for. Strength, swing, and a big dismount.
And he combines them so well.
The trick, of course, is to keep the rings as steady as possible. There's an inverted iron cross. Here comes a good combination. This is a double front within the rings and a back uprise to handstand. Well done. Here comes a spectacular dismount.
Oh, beautiful. Double twisting, double back. Very few gymnasts can even do that dismount, much less do it that well.
By the way, this team, Shannon Miller and Scott Keswick, in 1991.
So let's take a look
in
one more time at Scott
Switzerland,
Keswick.
were first in the all-around in the
This is the
Swiss
double
Cup.
front within the rings. A move invented by a Japanese guy named Yamawaki. And the dismount is 2 flips and 2 twists, and it's incredible that he keeps the form that he does. And what a landing.
Well, this shows why he was a World Championship finalist on this event. Look from this angle, you can see exactly all the flipping, all the twisting. It's just amazing.